hope you're really good. Welcome to my channel. I'm filming this on Sunday night. I'm organised this week because every Monday I do a baby name video here on my channel, and normally I film them like about half an hour before I have to upload them, but no, I've got myself organised. And I was thinking about finding some really rare and new names, because I've been doing baby name lists here for ages, and I was like, oh, what can we really like dig out? And I wrote down like a bunch of lists. So I thought I would look back, and I found this really fascinating website. It's BritishBabyNames.com, because originally when I was looking for the popularity lists from that era, from that old, they came up from America, but in the UK and Britain apparently we didn't record the names as often. So maybe like once a decade there was sort of a list of names that were popular, but there would be years and years and years without. But this lovely researcher had gone back and literally gone through newspaper birth announcements and had tallied that all together and done all this gorgeous research and found a sort of top 1,000 list. And obviously she was saying that all data can be a bit misconstrued and sometimes the spellings might be kind of wrong, but how amazing to do that. So yes, I will link the article below. What I've done is then gone through the top 1,000 for boys and girls and picked some that I think are just not back in fashion yet, because some of them like Sydney, Percy, Stanley for boys are coming back in, and for girls, you know, we know that we love names like Sylvie were on there, Pearl, like those sort of old fashioned names, they are already coming back. So these are some forgotten baby names from 1920 popularity lists that I think could suit a 2020 baby in your family. Okay, so the first name that was on the list that was a really interesting one is the name Pretoria. So you may have heard that song, We Are Marching to Pretoria. This just makes me laugh because that is a song my dad sings all the time, so he will literally crack at that I'm now singing that on YouTube. But it was ranked at number 116 in the 1900s, and it was actually the name of a battle in the in the Boer War, which I don't think I'm going to pronounce right. There was a big rise in these battle names, which I found really fascinating. So Pretoria was one of them, and then people started naming their children after these famous battles of the war. And also she mentioned that there was a surge in names like Surrender and Peace, which made me really sad. But yeah, a lot of military names were in this era, so if you're a military family it's an interesting one to go back and look at. Pretoria, I can't imagine it being used. It's totally unranked at the moment, but if you do have a Victoria or you love the meaning of it and the sort of history of it, it would make a beautiful middle name, I reckon. Redbirds is another one. I have had the name Redbirds on another list. This is a boy name. It was at number 50 back in the 1900s. It was given to nearly 12,000 boys, so it would have been really high. This is back in 1900 actually, in honour of Major General Sir Redvers Buller, who was a military leader, and I loved it. I came across it somewhere else and put it on a different list, Redvers. I think it sounds really good. Like if you like the name like Rivers and things like that, but it's maybe a bit too skewing gender neutral, Redvers sounds really masculine for me, I think, because it's got that strong D. But yeah, I loved those two as a little pair, Pretoria and Redvers. Lush. So behind Percy, which is kind of back, Sydney, Stanley and all of those ones, I came across this little gem of a name, Horace. So what do you think of Horace? It's not back with a boom yet. I think it's because I was reading a lot of forums and trying to dig out what people thought of the names. A lot of people think of it as horrid, the word horrid, which means awful. But I absolutely love it, and it means an hour in time, which I think is beautiful. Like, you know, this whole idea about being present and being in the moment, I think having that is part of your name is really lovely. So there were some real life people called Horace. So the most famously Quintus Horatius Flaccus was a Roman poet, and there was Horace Slughorn in Harry Potter. I love it when I find a Harry Potter fact. I think I should get extra thumbs up for Harry Potter fact. Yes, Horace. I like it. I do. I think I would like it. Would raise an eyebrow, wouldn't it? But yeah, would you be brave enough for Horace? So I'm gonna go boy, girl, boy, girl. So Marjorie is on the list. So it's not totally forgotten about, as in I've heard the name Marjorie, but it is so out of style, it is totally unranked. But it was at number 62 back in the 1900s, so it could be due its revival quite soon. It's a herb name, and I was talking in a couple of videos, maybe it was last week, it's about food and spice and herb inspired names. So Marjorie should really come through as on trend at the moment. Marjorie Dursley is Harry Potter's uncle's sister. Got your back. So yeah, I think it was the nickname Marge that really put people off, and Marjorie and things like that, but she wouldn't have to be Marge. So there was a lovely comment on a friend who had a girlfriend called Marjorie who went by Rory, which I thought was really lovely. Riri I really like as a nickname. Jory was coming up a lot, so Marjorie. Is it still just too old-fashioned, or could we see it coming back? Margaretta was another one on the list, which is obviously another form of Margaret, which I thought you might like, and is also unranked. Margaretta. Maybe it's a little bit more wearable with the etta. Edgar. Edgar is still being used. It is ranked, but it's not very high up as it was then. So it's at number 690 now in the UK. So it's not within the top 500, but it is getting used. I think because Edgar Allan Poe, who is the American writer-poet, has made this still very sort of top of mind, and we all sort of know that name. It's got a lovely meaning. It means to be fortunate and powerful, which is cool. I wouldn't mind being fortunate and powerful. For the girls is the name Blanche. So for the girls, I found there was more on the list that I've heard of. There wasn't any that I was like, I've not really heard that name before, but they're really out of use. So Blanche in the UK, there are a few, but it literally ranks at 3,985, whereas it's number 90 in the 1900s, so it's wildly out of fashion. Blanche was of French origin, so that's why you got that CHE at the end, and it means pure. So it's an interesting name. I think it's just become really associated with kind of being very old-fashioned, and maybe it's not kind of beautiful enough. It's just like Blanche, but I don't know. It's got that real retro cool. If you love nicknames like quirky, like Ginger, Kitty, all of those kind of old school names, I think Blanche really is a good contender. And interestingly, it means white in French, and Snow White is actually Blanche Neige. Neige? Blanche Neige. So she's called Blanche in French. Is that true? I love what I find on Google, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? But I'm from France and this is not correct. So yeah, let me know, but I think it was cool to know. For boys, I came across the name Maurice. So Maurice is obviously the French, but Maurice, I think this is in with a chance of a revival because it's like a surname. Like I know a lot of people with the last name Maurice, so it could really easily flip over to a first name, especially women keeping their first name in their children's names as well. So I see a lot of women using their maiden names and keeping that somewhere if they do choose to change it. But it's only at number 2,112, so it's not very used at all here. Interesting one, isn't it? It means dark, so that's like the opposite of Blanche. But Maurice, what do you think? Maurice dances, surname is first name. That's like two, like a Maurice dancer's cool. I don't know. So the next girl's name is Rhoda. Rhoda, so it's at totally nearly unranked. It's at 3,985 here in the UK now, whereas it was at 103 back in the 1900s. So it's unusual, Rhoda, but it means rose. So it's a lovely flower variation name, and most of those have really held their popularity, or it can mean being from Rhodes, so from Greek origin. Rhoda. What do you think? I think it could come back in style again because we're liking our stronger names like Ada, one of the fastest rising names in the UK last year. So maybe if it gets picked up by a character, if you're writing a TV show or a book, give them the name Rhoda, you could be bringing that back into fashion. Yeah. So Rhoda, apparently Rhodes wasn't a Greek island originally known for its roses, so many good things about it. It's just maybe not had its little fashion surge again yet. Oswald was on the list and I quite liked it. I thought, oh, that's really cool because you can get Aussie as a nickname, and it's got a bit more going for it maybe than Wallace with the Wally nickname. But then you do have the Lee Harvey Oswald who assassinated JFK connection, which a few people were bringing up in forums like, oh, I just really immediately go to him. But I think if you don't have that association in your mind, or you don't mind about that association, it's a really, really cool name, and it was a really common first name back in the 1900s. So it's a nice time to revive it and bring it back. I loved this name. It's unranked now, and its name's Sissy. Oh, I just think it is such a cool old-fashioned name, and I think with all these nickname names coming so back into fashion, then Sissy could be a super cool one. I think I'm saying it wrong actually. I need to say Cece. So that's probably a thing that will annoy people as well. I say Cece. But yeah, like Cece, I CC you. I just thought it was really, really lovely. I know I'm making a mess of presenting this, but I do really like it. It was at number 175 back in the 1900s list, but it is totally unranked at the moment. So Cece, I mean Coco we're still using, so why not Cece? I think it's really lovely, and if you've got a Christopher in your family, it's like a feminine derivative of Christopher. Ta-da! I'm done with my list for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed looking those up. I think it's a really fascinating way to look at names. I'm just going to play around with the name lists, I think, and have some fun with them. It's the end of the year, it's nearly Christmas. Let's have more fun and games. So let me know below which of these that you really liked, and your grandparents' names and stuff like that. Just have fun going back in history, historical baby names this week. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you are brand new. There's new name lists on my channel every single Monday. My full playlist is below, and we would love to have you here as part of our community. And I will see you all very soon. I've got, what videos have I got coming up this week? Oh, I might have a fashion one. I filmed a fashion video, and it's really like statement dresses, because I do like to dress a bit quirky. Not right now, grey jumper, but you know, trust me, it's very quirky. And then I have a Christmas, and then I've got a Christmas gift guide for kids coming up as well on my channel, so stick around for those as well. And I'll see you very soon. Lots and lots of love. Bye.